I don't own guns. Hello, my name is Shantel from Shantel is Probably Sorry. The time the reaction starts or rewatch starts is in the description. This is Orphan Black Season 2 Episode 7 called Knowledge of Causes and Secret Motions of Things. I have a few intro comments. The first two kind of tie into each other. Now, Helena said to Sarah, "If I told you where Swan Man was, you would leave me behind." And I said, that's not a lie. Because I don't doubt that at that point in their relationship, Sarah would have just up and left. I feel like there'd be like a small possibility that she would stay, but no. I was like, that was a very insightful comment. That was very smart, I guess. And they're all smart. Each clone is smart in their own way, even if it doesn't translate to intellectual mess. But then that ties into the second comment I was going to make, which is the "your sister is here" line. How Helena's face got so hopeful. It's like when someone exceeds your expectations, almost. She expected to be deserted. She expected that Sarah wasn't really gonna be there for her. So when the cop said, "Your sister's here," her face just lit up. I think that it sucks that that disappointment happened, but I mean, hey, her face just lit up, and then it turned out to be Gracie, and she was like, well. One thing I love about this show, from the very first scene in the pilot, we hear Kira's music, and we hear Kira's music or Kira's theme because of the fact that Sarah is on a phone call with S about Kira. And so one of the things I love about this show is that they'll have a character's theme music playing even when the character isn't there. Like when Sarah was talking to Ethan last episode about Cosima, Cosima's theme was playing in the back.
Cosima is unlike anybody I've ever met.
And I was just like, this is so pretty. And that happens enough for me to notice it. So it isn't always just when the character is on the screen, but sometimes it's when the character is being spoken about. But then there was that one time when there was a Cosima theme playing and like nothing having to do with Cosima was happening. So I know this is an Allison-centric episode. It's like kind of the rehab blow-up thing. Oh, a lot happens this episode. It's a very eventful one. But we do see Vic having a bit of a crush on Allison, if I forget to mention it. It's like he sees a bit of Sarah in her. But ultimately Vic chooses to, I guess, rat. Even though he does have that crush on her because, I mean, his own well-being is more important than Allison with the mouth. I was like, I don't know why Allison would just like blab off about killing Ainsley. And I'm like, okay. I was like, I can kind of understand how that happened. I'm just like, why? And I mean, the ultimate why, the ultimate answer to the question why, is the fact that the writers wanted it to happen. It's situational comedy, how some of the situations and some of the episodes here that have a lot of situational comedy rely on these perfect instances of chaos. It's like, this happens to happen this way, therefore this happens this way, therefore this happens this way. It's like, it's cumulative. It's like cumulative chaos. But I'm saying, like, why would the character, like, why would you tell someone you don't know that well that you killed someone? I mean, do you really have no one to talk to? I understand it's freeing, but I mean, sometimes you gotta keep certain things to yourself. I'm just saying.
Whoever you clone, do they have a niece or even a daughter?
This episode is really eventful. Hashtag this might be the most eventful episode of the season.
You know, the next step is you have to learn to forgive.
And I killed her. Well, she was choking and I didn't stop it. As she clawed at the countertop, begging for her life. I stood there until it was over.
You know what? That is exactly why this is on my computer. What up, bro?
Can you feel that?
My chest.
feel that? Kinda. Yeah? Mama. The spinal's working. We're gonna begin. Yeah?
I'm sorry. I'm great. I'm wonderful. Thanks for asking.
I can't go to jail, Felix. I don't have the temperament. In the shower, if they touch me, I will cut that person.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
I'm Cal.
Sarah.
Well, what's up?
I'm not that kind of girl.
Why are you lying?
We share a lab. Why do we have to keep the source from her?
Because you signed a confidentiality agreement.
Well,
And I'm your boss.
here it is.
Is that clear?
Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Wow. Wow.
What's going on, Scott? You gave me Kira's stem cells. Please, listen to me. Leaky set us up. Us? What? Yes.
You knew it was Kira.
But only after I realized that it was working. The tests were positive and I had to keep going.
Stop to think once that this is my decision and not yours.
There is no decision, Kasima. You have one way forward and this is it. It is a finite source.
Unless you bring her in for more.
Get out. That's not funny.
My lab. My body. I'm the science. Get out!
That, to me, yep. This is my lab. My body. I'm the science. Get out. Honestly, every time I've watched that argument, it's just been so intense that I just sit there like, wow. Wow. This time is no different. I'm sure that there's stuff I could say on it, so I'll write it down in case I have stuff to say at it at the end.
It's you, your people, your finks and rats and snitches and fuzz. Vic's here and he's gonna give me up to the police unless you meet with him. I need you to come here right now and clean up your doo-doo.
It's funny because every single name tag besides Donnie's is decorated.
You are a rock in my stream, blocking the flow.
I think it's interesting how how the first time we heard him read, that flow. It was almost as though the character had difficulty reading, and then now it's like poetry. So I just find that noteworthy.
Do you smell soft?
Does salt have an odor? Wow.
I may have spiked his teeth.
Damn it to hell.
Cumulative chaos.
There's family tours after the assembly. They're coming to this room.
Cumulative chaos.
Allison Hendricks.
Why do these things happen to them?
Hello, kids.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, he's being Allison. That's right. And I'm being Allison being Donnie?
This teaches you to see things from your partner's point of view.
Jesus, I'm done with theatre.
I didn't have a choice, did I?
I love
Where's
this
Vic?
Sorted for now.
shot interaction.
Disaster.
Allison?
Well,
What? This kind of cluelessness can't be fake.
wow. I'm sorry.
I don't know what kind of game.
I gotta avoid eye contact, bro. I might actually feel sorry for her. Stop. I'm kidding.
Rachel.
And that's the thing, the first time I watched this, I do remember being like, oh wow, like, my first time probably seeing the more human side of her character. I just kind of brushed it off because I hated her. Not like hated, she just got on my nerves. See? Wow.
You have to believe me. I had no idea.
What did you think you were doing?
Long-term social metrics. They told me it was totally benign, but subjects had to remain completely unaware.
So when men came in van loads at night with their gloves
I just
and
had
their
chills.
clothes, was that benign?
What men?
You destroyed
I've had
us.
them for a while now.
With the spying and the lies. I love you so much. And you ruined our family. You're so stupid. You don't even know why.
There's something to say about that, actually. The anger.
Rachel, is it done? It's in motion. Not a happy task, I know. He was your mentor. Yes, he was. Don't get in your car. Don't go home. You might survive. Thank you.
Why does my heart feel like this? Can we stop? I don't like this feeling. I don't like feeling things. God.
Take care of to have the what? Harvester?
I don't know, Cal, okay? She's sick. Kira might be her only chance.
Don't do
I have goosebumps. I hate this. God. The next cumulative chaos. Perfect circumstances. But also, the next series of events. Gun safety. Gun safety.
Get in!
See, first of all, you're not supposed to have your finger on the trigger unless you're about to shoot. And obviously his safety is off as hell. Like, that shit is off.
And probed my wife.
Listen to me, you got turned up.
You turnip. I have a friend who makes insults like that. She called... She called this girl who is mean to me, she called her a walking, talking bowl of tomato soup. She is literally the type of person to insult you by calling you a turnip. It's not even a joke. It's so cute though. It's very funny. It's like, that is such an odd insult.
You ruined my marriage. My wife.
No, you ruined your marriage.
Your wife.
Oh shit, true. Wow.
Put the gun away.
Good job, dude. Good job. Cumulative chaos. So that was Orphan Black 207 called Knowledge of Causes and Secret Motion of Things. I definitely think that this was one of my favorite episodes of this season, or it is one of my favorite episodes of this season. However, I can't really remember the last 3 episodes that well. I mean, I remember the season finale pretty well, but I don't exactly remember what happens in 8 or 9. It's kind of all blurred together, okay? I can't really remember 9. I remember 8 pretty well, though. And the role-playing scene where Sarah was pretending to be Allison, who was pretending to be Allison, being Donnie. Anyway, that is definitely one of my favorite clone swap scenes. Like, that just, it gets me every time. I'm not gonna watch that and not laugh. Very funny episode, not necessarily filler because important things happened this episode. Speaking of important things, they mentioned, or at least Leaky mentioned, the synthetic amniotic fluid this episode. And I can't remember if it was a comment I read or if it was a post I saw online where someone was like, I thought that they were gonna make something of that. It's like one of those details that remained unfulfilled, if I'm not mistaken. They never like touched up on that, which is odd. However, there's so much detail put into this show that I kind of expect that some details are going to be forgotten because there is so much attention to detail and it's obvious. Nothing is perfect, okay? No show is perfect, No work of art is perfect. There are often plot holes and weird stuff happening, and this show is no exception. We see a bit more of Cosima the patient this episode, which is what they were trying to achieve for her character, and by they I mean the writers were trying to achieve for her character this season, and I mean in general. I'm pretty sure the writers said that the reason they chose to make Cosima sick is because she is a scientist and they thought it would be a worthy dynamic. I said that I was going to kind of think about that argument that they had, and by they I mean Cosima and Delphine, but I didn't really think about it. Every time that argument happens, I just kind of like, wow, gotta go, bye. But I think it is at least worth mentioning. I think the acting in that scene was brilliant. I mean, on Evelyn's part as well, but I was specifically referring to Tatiana specifically in that moment. But then also the choice of lines that they wrote for Cosima always hit me, like struck a chord with me almost. Did you ever stop to think that this wasn't your decision to make? This is my body, my lab, I'm the science, this is me, this is my life, you know? And that somewhat parallels the whole this is my life, I'm not your property angle to this show, right, before I digress. It was valid. I understand the thought process behind why Delphine, the character, made the decisions that she made. It doesn't mean I agree with them. I just understand how she got to that conclusion. If I were in that situation, if I were Delphine, I'm not Delphine, I'm Shantel. But if I were Delphine, as much as, oh yeah, no. Here's the thing. Sorry, I was about to talk about what I would do in that situation, but I just thought of something. Before I continue on with anything, I have my comic book, right? And I brought up my comic book because I need to talk about something involving the comic book. But any of the media associated with Orphan Black that isn't canonically in the show, like aired on the show, goes back to that detail thing I was talking about. There are discrepancies, or at least they don't expect everyone who watches the show to indulge in this stuff, to read the comics, or to buy the Delphine's journal, for instance. That was something they came out with. It was like the Delphine's perspective and journal entries involving her monitoring of Cosima, and I didn't buy that. I'm broke. I'm always broke. I'm gonna delete that. However, and I got all ranty about this in season 1, episode 10 of my rewatch. Delphine apparently had a sick parent. I'm pretty sure it was her father, who died of disease, like terminal illness, like what Cosima has. And that plays a role in her decision-making process. And that just sparked back into my mind, and I was like, oh yeah, but did the writers even come up with that fact before writing the character, or before writing those scenes? Like, is this something that you just pulled out your butt after the show? Or was it something that they knew would hit close to home to the character because they just flat out designed that when they created the character? I kind of just jumped into that because I remembered it, and this is relevant. But as I was saying, if I were Delphine, I would not do that. Because it is my belief that people should have a say in the decisions involving them and their lives. It's why consent is necessary in healthcare. It's why informed consent is necessary in healthcare, excuse me. Even though this is a show where they aren't necessarily like in healthcare, they're more like in dyad, but I'm saying in general, like even if it wasn't required by law, it's important to me. I don't think I'd be able to do that. I don't think I would have the capacity to be like, yeah, I know this now, and I'm not going to tell you this, even though I know it would affect your decision-making process. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that. I'm just saying. Because even if it would hurt me, if they're the important one in the situation, then my thoughts and feelings get pushed aside. And that's just kind of how it works. Which I think that's interesting because we do see a bit of that in season 3, Delphine and Cosima. You know, Leaky talked about Rachel getting the bigger picture. I wrote it down with a question mark, like whether, like, am I going to talk about it? Am I not going to talk about it? I'll think about it probably and come back next week in the intro comments about it. And next week, my intro comments shouldn't be nearly as long, especially since it's going to be a 2-part video about representation. We met Mary in this episode, and the reason I got this comic book is because of the fact that we met Marion, this episode. What we see of Marion in the comics, or at least the Helsinki comics, we see her being behind harvesting Rachel's DNA for Adam's rib. That's this thing down there. And she also had a say in Helsinki. However, Rachel was the one who pushed for Helsinki to happen. And, you know, at this point, Rachel's like 17 and Ferdinand's a little boy. And then we see her again with Susan and Charlotte. We see Charlotte with a deformed leg, and actually Ferdinand knew about Adam's rib. He, you know, was like double agenting, not really. But then also in Dimitri's lab, which is where Adam's rib was taking place, we see just like a whole bunch of deformed fetuses. And then we see Charlotte come out with her deformed leg. So I have 2 friends who really disliked Donnie. I never disliked him. Donnie's stupidity did not annoy me as much as it annoyed my peers. Like Stanley and John both were like, Donnie's a idiot. And I mean, it's not a lie. He was a bit stupid. And I think that's a valid point. Allison was like, you destroyed our family and you don't even know why. I was like, in that moment when I first watched it, I was like, so much stupidity, so much ignorance. Like, how does this happen? And also, I just want to test something out. This is not real, obviously. I just pinched my pinky. So I just took it off of safety. I would like to see. So the gun would have had to have been racked. The safety would have had to have been off. I know it's a show, okay? I know it's a show. I just want to test logistics. It was in his left hand. He was like, I quit. Nope, that just made dust fly off of my book. This book is like 40 years old. Let's be honest. These books are so old that it refers to black people as Negroes. Like, they talk about the Negro peoples. That's how old this book is. Which isn't very old, but also I'm pretty sure actual gun triggers are more sensitive than this trigger would be. It's off of safety. It's still racked. No. That would have to be some really weird angling. That would have to be some really weird angling in order to hit your finger just right. But if it was hairpin, okay, now I could see. But it would have to be more of a muscle thing and less of hitting the steering wheel. Less of, oh hey, my finger hit the steering wheel, therefore it pushed my finger down and I shot Dr. Leakey. It's more so, I'm angry, I hit against something, and my muscles squeeze. It's more of that. It's not like, because this also isn't a steering wheel, this is a book, and this hurts. Okay, well that's it for me. Thank you for watching. Like the video if you liked it. Comment if you wanna. I hope you're having a wonderful existence, and I guess that brings me to bye. Alright, well thank you for watching. Okay. I understand why Delphine... Nope. Those words are about to come out wrong. It's on. It's on again. I was like, Donnie, what are you doing?
We're developing an artificial womb. We have a hobby, Mike. I like pottery.
Rely on, like, these... Oops.
They don't talk. I don't give a shit what you think.
The snitch is gonna stitch on your ass. Are more senses. But also, I'm pretty sure the writer said that the reason they chose to make Cosima sick. I have a lisp. I'm angry. I'm hungry. really think. I said, wow. I'm angry.
Well, I thought it got thrown out. Well, I'll keep it for now.
They talk so goddamn loud. Why? I don't know anything about guns, I promise.
Whoever you clone, do they have a niece or even a daughter?
This episode is really eventful. Get off my screen.
I can tell.
They're cooking. I smell it. I smell it, bro. I would like to make this brief. There's tape on my shirt. What is that? I think I'll think about it. I think. Okay, that's how you say it. I think that I'll think about it. I think I'll think about it. Wow. I'll think about it.
Honey, can you pass my name tag? Honey, can you pass my name tag?
Yeah, relax. Sarah, you always do this to me.
So what we see.
Have hopheads, tweakers, rummies.
Oh. Right.
What we see of Marion in the comics, or at least in the
Shantel,
yeah.
are you using that ruler currently?
No.
Can I use it?
Ouch.
Sorry.
Where's the time?
It's a little gay.
It's
A little bit.
What's wrong?
1 minute. I got this. I got this. I got this. Don't die. Don't die. But I'm just saying. Did I rack that? I don't know. I did rack that. And now it's not. I guess that brings me to... Bye. Bye, 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 bye. Wow. Me hitting that book over and over again, like, it's my knuckles are a bit red. They don't feel super great, but they don't feel bad. They just feel like I've hit a book a bunch of times.